When you think of a world-class spy, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Probably someone from the CIA, right? Or maybe MI6. But what if I told you that one of the most sophisticated intelligence communities out there has spent decades making you think they're, well, kind of incompetent? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on how Italy's spies didn't just play the game, they changed the rules by mastering the art of being underestimated.
And this is really the whole point. Our source for this deep dive, Edward H. Whitmore, absolutely nails it with this quote. Forget the stereotypes. The real story is so much richer and way more complex. This isn't just about setting the record straight. It's about understanding how the illusion of weakness can be one heck of a powerful weapon.
So, let's get right into it. How on earth did this whole illusion of weakness even start? Well, the core idea here is that it was no accident. Not at all. It was a deliberate, calculated strategy that allowed Italy to move freely in the shadows, achieving its own objectives while the bigger players were looking the other way, completely underestimating them.
So, on the one hand, you have the stereotype that we all kind of know, right? A bit of political chaos, maybe some bumbling operatives, just not a major player. But the reality? Oh, the reality is something else entirely. We're talking about strategic ingenuity, deep clandestine competence, and a history of pulling off operations with incredible finesse. They basically use the stereotype as the perfect camouflage. Let me give you a perfect example. A super high-stakes operation in Naples. Now, anyone else might have gone in with brute force, but not them. Italian agents used their deep, almost cellular knowledge of the city's ancient, winding streets to just slip past all the defenses and pull critical intel right out of a port warehouse. It was surgical. It was quiet. It was a level of sophistication their rivals literally never saw coming.
But that begs the question, why this approach? Why all the subtlety and illusion? Well, to get that, you have to look at a map. For Italy, its geography isn't just some backdrop for the story. It's the crucible. It's the thing that forged their entire strategic mindset from day one.
I mean, just look at where Italy is. It's this dagger plunged right into the heart of the Mediterranean. It's wedged between three continents, Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. It's the natural crossroads for, well, for everything. Trade, energy, migration, terrorism, you name it. This position forces their intelligence services to be incredibly nimble, just to keep their heads above water.
And because of that location, they have a set of security demands that are just non-negotiable. Think about it. They are on the absolute front line of migration flows from Africa. They control the arteries for vital oil and gas supplies. And on top of all that, they are NATO's critical southern flank. This isn't a strategy they chose. It's a destiny handed to them by the map.
So if you're facing that kind of constant 360-degree pressure, how do you even build an intelligence service that can cope? Well, you don't build it like everyone else. You create an architecture of shadows, a system that is designed from the ground up for maximum secrecy and flexibility.
Italy's intelligence community is essentially split right down the middle. You've got ISE. Think of them as the away team. They're focused on everything outside of Italy. Espionage, covert ops, you name it. And then you have ISIS. They're the home team, the guardians, focused on counterterrorism and all the threats happening inside the country. So just to make it crystal clear, ISE looks out at the world, and ISI looks inward at home. They are two distinct sides of the same coin. And this very separation, well, that's the real secret to how Italy operates so effectively in the shadows.
Now, your first thought might be, wait, isn't having a fragmented system like that a weakness? But see, that's the genius of it. It's not a flaw, it's a feature. It's what our source calls deniability by design. By keeping these agencies separate, the government can greenlight incredibly risky operations while maintaining a plausible distance. It builds in a buffer, a layer of political insulation that is absolutely priceless.
Okay, so you've got this slick system built for secrecy. But here's where it gets really tricky. How do you operate in the shadows when you're also one of the most important members of a massive, very public military alliance? This brings us to the ultimate high-wire act for Italian intelligence, balancing their loyalty to NATO with the absolute need to protect their own national interests.
It's like being pulled in two different directions at the same time. On one side, you have NATO, demanding collective defense, total information sharing, a single unified strategy. But on the other side, Italy has its own very specific, very urgent needs, like keeping the lights on by securing energy from North Africa or dealing with instability right on its doorstep. And that tension creates this constant, delicate dance.
And believe me, this tension wasn't just theoretical. During the Cold War, it was explosive. Italy was home to Operation Gladio, this top-secret NATO stay-behind army. At the same time, it was enduring the horrific strategy of tension, a dark period of domestic terror. And through it all, they were running their own unilateral missions, like Operation Harbinger, that stretched their alliance commitments to the absolute breaking point.
Operation Harbinger is the perfect case study. It's 1977. Italian intelligence sees Soviet influence skyrocketing in Libya. That's a direct threat to their national security, right in their backyard. NATO hesitates. So what does Italy do? It goes it alone. They launch a clandestine operation to disrupt Soviet supply lines. It was a huge risk, and it definitely angered their allies. But for Rome, protecting its own vital interests came first, period.
So when you start putting all these pieces on the board, the carefully crafted illusion of weakness, the immense pressures of their geography, that unique structure built for deniability, and this constant tightrope walk with its allies, a completely new and fascinating picture of Italian intelligence starts to emerge.
This is what our source calls the Italian method. It's a unique playbook. They use their geography as a point of leverage. They use their internal architecture to ensure deniability. They master the balance between alliance and sovereignty. And their operations are defined by subtlety, not spectacle. It's this special combination that lets Italy punch way, way above its perceived weight on the world stage.
And in the end, that's the real takeaway here. The story of Italian intelligence is not some historical footnote. It is, as our source concludes, a covert world where the real history is darker, deeper, and more decisive than you ever imagined.
Hey, if this explainer gave you a totally new perspective on things, do us a huge favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to Strategic Labs, and share it. It really helps us make more deep dives just like this one.
And remember, all of this incredible information is drawn from the book Shadows Over the Mediterranean. So if you want to go even deeper down this rabbit hole, the link to buy it is right there in the description below.
And that leaves us with one final big question for you. Italy clearly mastered this art of being an unseen power during the Cold War. But who's doing it today? In the modern world, which nations do you think are the ones quietly punching above their weight, shaping events from the shadows?
Let us know what you think in the comments section. We really do read all of them. Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer.